All right, sweeties, here we are, core activation. We're gonna get straight into 90-90 where we finished off the last exercise in the mobility section. So let's get back there. And now we're gonna make this active, right? We're starting to wake up our body to engage our core. Now, specifically in this one, we're trying to activate the front glute and abs, okay? It doesn't mean nothing else is working. We still have mobility happening in this position. That's why we use it so much. But specifically, I'm thinking about my forward leg glute, okay, primarily. That's the primary driver of this position. So we're in 90-90, and just a reminder, you're trying to get perfectly in 90 degrees in the front knee, 90 degrees in my groin angle, and also 90 degrees in my back knee. Now, sometimes, depending on our mobility, we'll have to slide a little bit. Maybe my front foot has to come closer to me to make more of an acute angle in my knee. Or my back hip is cramping, that's really common. Maybe you need to slide your back foot towards your body a little bit more to make your back knee more of an acute angle. So play with that because you have to be able to maintain this position one way or another. Now, and you'll notice too, one side is more open or more challenging than another, right? We've talked about this before. So just notice the differences on each side. Now first, I have my left knee forward, okay? The goal is with this is to take my hands off, hold them at my side, pulling my hands back to open up my chest, and then I'm going to lean forward over my knee as far as I can go to then hold, okay? So what is important for you to notice as I demonstrate this is how flat my back is as I hinge. We talk about deadlift positions, bending positions, single leg RDLs, things like that. Anytime you're bending over, unless I advise you otherwise, you want to try to keep your back flat. So here we are 90-90. I'm going to bend over my left knee. Look at how engaged my back is. Now when I keep my back that engaged, that's as far as I can go over my knee, right? If I were to relax, that's how far I can go. I can go all the way down if my back rounds, okay? But you don't want your back to round, otherwise that's a disengaged spine. We want to keep our spine engaged, flat, and working quite hard. So I'll go down, keeping the back flat. I'll hold once I reach that end range, which is right here. The end range meaning my glute won't allow me to go further if my back is engaged. Now what we're trying to think of once we reach this end range is push your left knee through the ground to stabilize your body weight as we bend over the knee. So I'm here, my arms are pulling back, so my shoulders are going to get nice and warm, maybe tight fists. Now I'm pushing my knee through the ground hard, and I'm going to hold this. I'm breathing, I'm tightening my abs a bit for stability, remind myself to keep my spine long, flat, and engaged. Still feeling my glute as I push this knee down. Now you're going to try for up to a minute of that, okay? 30 seconds is great, 45 minute, and if you want to increase as you go along in sets, go ahead and do that. But the end goal is just 1 minute, okay? Now, the next one, and make sure you get both sides for that, obviously. Don't just do one and not the other. The next one, also very mobilizing. We're going to start by sitting on our butt. And you're going to kind of pull your feet in close to your butt, and I'm kind of in this upright groin opening position. Now the key with this is that you're not too narrow with your feet, so I would say depending on your mobility, you could be anywhere from hip width, shoulder width, maybe just a little bit outside shoulder width, but probably not any further than just barely outside shoulders. Now from here, so I'll slide in a little bit. This is about shoulder width for me. I feel this is appropriate. I'm going to grab my toes and pull my toes back. As I pull my toes back, what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling my chest up. So not only am I pulling with my arms to pull my toes back, I'm engaging my upper body by staying nice and tall once I pull. Then I'm going to think about pushing my knees down towards the ground using my hips. So what you'll see is only my knees go to the ground. See, I did that there. I pushed down towards the ground. What that's doing is activating my glute medius, okay, more my hips. So I'm tall, I'm pushing my knees down to activate my hips. Now watch as I take my hands off, my body not move. And then I'll hold my hands out here in front of me. So in this position, once I take my hands off, I am fighting extremely hard to continue pushing my knees to the ground, continuing to keep my chest upright. So I'm fighting to stay exactly where I got myself to originally. Now, if you're not engaged, what you'll see or what will happen is something like this. We'll get in a position, I'll pull my chest up, I'll push my knees down, and then you get ready to take your hands off, and then, oh, you sink back like that because you're not staying tight and firm enough. Now, I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm practiced. I've done this several times before, at least. So I have pretty good stability in the position. So just do your best to stay tall, okay? Do your best to continue pushing your knees to the ground. And you're going to do that same thing about 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure that you're timing yourself, you're trying to pay attention so that you can then improve on the second set or the next time that we come around and do it again. Okay, now the very last position that we're going to work on is a DNS move, 3-month prone position. It's fairly simple, but it's much more complex if you focus on it the right way, per usual, right? Everything I give you, we're focusing on the accuracy, the form, and not necessarily the intensity, okay? We want to keep things properly done at all times. And that's kind of a difficult thing for me to teach because when I'm teaching things with people one-on-one, I can adjust them. I can see what's going on with their bodies. I can't see what's going on with you. So it's important for me to communicate and show, demonstrate exactly what needs to be done. And then even more important that you pay attention to yourself and see what's going on for yourself because you're going to be your teacher. You're going to be the one that's correcting yourself based on what I show you. So make sure you're paying attention to yourself along with paying attention to the instruction I'm giving you. That goes for everything, obviously. So now this 3-month prone position, you're going to start by laying on your stomach. Okay. Now in this position, you're going to think, keep your legs completely disengaged. Okay, so I'm not using my legs at all. You can see that my toes are not pulled under, but they're let go. My legs, I should say my knees are about shoulder width apart. You're not too narrow. Fairly relaxed once you lay on your stomach. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place your elbows forward like I have them. And that would be about eye level. So if there was a line going from one elbow crease to my other, my eyes would be directly over this line. My hands are out in front of me, making this diamond position like so. I'm pressing through all fingers, all knuckles. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to pull my shoulders down away from my ears, and then I'm going to try to push my elbows through the floor to then lift my chest and stomach off the ground. So, if my shirt were tucked in, you would see how my stomach begins to rise off the ground. My chest is off the ground. When I first begin, my chest is on the ground, right? I'm relaxing here. But then I'm going to try to push my elbows through the floor to lift my chest and stomach off the ground. So I'm driving my elbows through the ground. I'm letting go of my legs. My glutes tend to want to work here. Don't do that. And try to pull your belly button off the ground. Now, you can see I'm trembling here because my core is actually working quite hard to maintain this position, which is great. Okay, so I'm pushing my elbows through the floor. I'm pulling my shoulders down away from my ears. I'm pulling my chest off the floor. My belly button's off the floor. It's like doing a lower plank. So a typical plank is like this, right? It's getting the same abdominal muscles, the abdominal wall, the transverse abdominis, all of these things as you hold that position. Okay, play with it. Make sure you're feeling the abdominals, the abs, the front side of the core when you do that. You're definitely going to feel your shoulders as well. 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or 1 minute. You choose. Work your way up. 2 or 3 sets of the core activation today per usual, okay? Enjoy, go back, watch, rewatch, practice. Hope you guys are enjoying.